Thank you, Ms.
Okay.
So
Tonight,
tonight, what, we are recording, so.
Yeah.
All the meetings to order. So let us start with, roll call.
Okay, Mr. Himstead is not here. Miss Barrow is here. Miss Hubie mentioned to me that she was gonna join by Zoom, so I don't know if she'll be in just a minute or not. Mayor Chapman is not here. Dr. Covert's here. Miss McGee is here and Miss Von Arp is here.
And Ms. McGee wanted to make a brief acknowledgement.
I just want to let everybody know that Willie Payne passed away. He's probably the oldest citizen in the town, used to be on town council. And he died on yesterday. His birthday was Monday. And he made sure he didn't die on Monday. He's 85. He was my mentor. I went every Thursday to visit him and take him to Central Virginia. And he was my mentor for here. He gave me some good advice. And if y'all saw me do some things that came from Lord,
Sounds like he will be missed.
he will.
All right, and then on Monday we will address that. So let's stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have a very limited agenda here. Make it a yeah. When Becky, you want to adopt the agenda?
Yes.
As do I. So the agenda is adopted. And old business, we are going to continue the discussion of the fiscal year 26 budget. And I've already discussed this, but I'm going to make a public statement that there is no public comment tonight. This is council discussion. This is the first introduction for us to discuss it. And so I'm going to ask Mrs. Washington to essentially take over, and you need my help, but please just go ahead and lead the discussion.
Okay, so in your packet, you have two documents. One starts on page 2. This is just how it prints out off of our software system. If you go to page 13, it's more legible and you can understand it better.
So where are we going to start?
Page 13, it's easier for us to read and get through. It's all the same thing. It's just that first one is a report straight from the software system.
I got a lot of questions.
Oh,
I do,
then
and I
use
marked
that
them
one.
all on
Okay,
this
that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. They're the same numbers, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, if they're the
It's just
same
so you-
number and they're in the
it's-
same order, that's fine.
Yeah, so this, on page 13, what it does is it breaks it down by color coded, general fund. And then in the general fund are your council expenses, and then your clerk treasurer expenses, DMV, public works. And then it'll break it up by water, cemetery. It's all the same. They go by numbers anyway. So you have your fund numbers and your object codes. So the one that you guys are marking up, they have the numbers too. It just doesn't label what they are, but they're in the same order. So page 2 and 3 are the revenues for the general fund.
Can I ask a question as we go along?
Yeah. We're here for you guys to ask questions and talk about it.
Page 13,
Mhm.
we have car rental distribution revenue. What the heck is it?
I'm gonna let Kelly wrote all these down because these are, this is money that we receive like from the county or through the state as, like rentals, anything that's rented or drive transportation, or like we get Verizon money because they have something here. We get money from,
So this is money coming in,
yeah.
not going out.
no, this money coming in. Do you want to explain that, Kelly?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of read
Yep.
from the website that they supply us with this information. So car rental distribution revenue is a tax on the rental of motor vehicles in Virginia that are rented for less than 12 months. Regardless of what type of dealer you rent it from. So if they're renting something from a dealership or from an enterprise or Hertz or wherever,
Why would we be renting?
we aren't. This is revenue that we receive from vehicles that are rented, that are people, their address is within the town of Mineral. So we receive a portion of the tax that is collected on that from the state.
It's confusing.
It is very confusing. It's taken some time to learn some of this stuff. And it's broken down into based on the gross vehicle weight or the rental of any vehicle or rental of motorcycles or depending on weight. So it's broken down into classes. But we get a portion of that tax that's paid to us through the state.
Can I
Mhm.
ask a question? I have a lot, just so you know, not all at once. So would the U-Hauls over there at Miller's Market, the tax that's paid on them be part of this?
Yep.
It's not broken down for us when they, like.
Right.
So
It's not gonna
whatever
say-
vehicle, but it's just a lump sum that we get and that's what.
From that category.
It's
Right.
saying,
So-
it's saying 0, and then it says in 26 is gonna be
Right.
6,000. Why is it saying
Because-
0 for 25?
So because of our new financial management system and we're trying to figure out how all of these revenues come in, when they come in, they only come in as direct deposits into our bank account. And Kelly has to go through and try to audit that and figure that number out. And so that we didn't, when breaking all of our numbers out, some of the numbers she's gonna have to go back and just kind of fix the historic numbers so that you can see it. But this is with her audit on what she's done. This is the number that we forecasted for 26.
Okay, I'm still confused.
That's okay. So we understand.
Can I ask a quick question about the litter grant?
Yeah.
Well, we estimated we're gonna get 1,000, we got 38. Did we do something special to get extra or?
Where are we at?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's
It's on page
the top
14.
of 14.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there's, like anything that we can continue to do to get all these little extras, if.
I'm not sure why we got 38. We normally only get,
Yeah.
like 18 or 2,000.
I think
Right,
with
so
overlap in the years.
Oh, overlapping
Because
years.
overlapping
That's exactly what it was. The
Um,
pay-in.
When they
So
paid it
when
out.
they paid it out.
But
to
even
us.
still, it's like twice as, it's still twice as much.
Because it was for 2 separate fiscal years, but they paid it out in this current fiscal year.
Right, but it's just 4 times as much, so it's still twice, so I'm just wondering if we should follow up and do something to try to.
So you can
Getting
al-
those extra amount, if we have a committee that should be.
But it's not an extra amount. So they estimated in 25 that would be $1,000 because they had only gotten, I think, 1,000 before. So your litter grant is based on the information that you provide them. We have to fill out a
Okay.
whole form and you can get up to $2,000.
So this, what we're talking about now is money that's
Coming in, revenue,
to
yes,
us.
yes, revenue.
Not what we're spending,
No.
it's money coming in.
No.
Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't know we got fire revenue, see, this is very.
That's what goes to the.
That goes to the fire. That's just a pass through.
But I love that, I know, I
Sorry,
love
Kelly.
that.
No, I-
All these sources of revenue, I just.
No.
It's very
We forward to the fire. I did know that one. So the reserve revenue is 50,000, meaning current budget, we didn't use any of it. We didn't- There's nothing, so
You're on
nothing's
14.
gonna be
That's page 14.
coming in 26, correct? That's on page 14 also. miscellaneous reserve revenue?
That 50,000 was what we were proposed to collect. It's a number that we had in our budget last year. That's last year's number. There's no reserves. We were able to match and mimic our budget based on the categories where we're having money come in. So remember last year, we had started implementing our financial management system. So we were putting our money where we thought they would go. This year, we've done a better job with explaining what the funds actually go to.
So we're not putting it miscellaneous, we're putting it.
No, we're putting in actual counts,
Okay.
yes.
We're gonna go on to general fund thing, is there ready for that?
Expenses. So, and just so everyone knows, it's a balanced budget, right? So your revenue, which you just went over at the top of 14, 933,900. That's your revenue balance. At the end of the general fund expense, so general fund starts with 100. If you go to page 17, at the top of 17.
Are the pages numbered anywhere or we just,
Yeah.
where?
Where's your
I don't know
packet?
where.
Oh, there. Where I don't have my notes.
Okay.
This keeps getting better.
That's all right. They're all in the same order. So page 17, at the top of 17, you'll see total expense labeled on the left, and on the right, you'll see 933,900. So when your revenue and your expense match, that's a balanced budget. So your general fund portion of your budget is balanced. And that's important. It has to do that.
So we're, okay. Where's the 1 million and something? What is that? And then we go on to 933. We've only used 699, 678, 75, correct?
So of the 25 budget, 976,450, we have so far received 689,255,
And
which is, I think we received more than that.
1 million, what's that? That's what was budgeted?
Where
Are you on page 17, Becky?
On the page.
Yep.
17
At the top.
that's the expenditures.
But we didn't
It's the
spend that much.
total, but we didn't.
Right.
Okay. So the budget was 1 million and we only spent that, 699, 678 so far.
So
Still got
let's-
this month, correct?
let's,
And June, correct?
Well, this budget only goes through March, it may not be the whole of March, it may be up to around the 15th of March when we started working on the budget. So expenditures, revenues and expenditures for the current fiscal year are not
Okay.
they're more.
total
So
yet.
this is done in March and it's been
Right.
more since then.
Right.
Okay.
And so we've done more of a forecasting and looked at our numbers to see what's coming.
Okay, I just have a couple questions here. Where it says, meal tax revenue, does that include the food trucks?
Yes.
They pay meal tax.
Okay,
What are
And-
you at?
I'm back at the beginning because I have my name on the page. Yes,
Are you on page what? What's the?
Page 13, but in meal tax revenue. Well, I know, but it's the.
okay. And,
Needs an education here.
I know.
and for the permits, is that all the different types of permits that we have in zoning? And are they all the same price?
We only have zoning permits.
Okay,
And we have a fee schedule that we're gonna look at as well. We don't get a lot of different permits. We don't get rezoning permits. We don't get subdivision permits. We don't get those. Right now, we normally only get zoning permits. So the estimated fee is 1,500 in revenue is what we've estimated for the upcoming year. It could be higher because we could have somebody that maybe the PUD gets approved and they have to do something else. Well, they'll pay for that permit. Maybe someone else does a plat review, which is a fee that I've added into here, or maybe they do another, subdivision. That's another fee that's added. So we'll do a fee schedule and look at the fee schedule as well to go over that.
Okay. All right, now let us get back on track and I'll save my next questions until later.
This is the time to ask.
Yep, if you have more
This
questions,
is a workshop.
No, this is
As
one
we
I'd have
go
to discuss
down.
with you personally.
I think we need to discuss it out in the open, it's fine. It's about the budget, so.
No, because the budget is just numbers and this is a different type of question. I just wanna.
All right, when we're on page 4, council town manager expenses, what is that? mean?
Yeah, that was one of my questions too.
So council town manager expenses are all the expenses that we do for that fund, that department, right? So, salary,
What is it spent on?
so salary, FICA, VRS, health plan, that's your insurance, professional
This is
services.
not everybody's
Mhm.
salary.
Right, so professional services are anything that's within, I think that's the lawyer, is that right, Kelly?
So the lawyer fees come out of that.
Professional services,
And the.
council compensation, any advertisement notices will come out of this portion of the budget. Town insurance, council conferences and expenses, membership dues, so we have memberships with different agencies like BML, LGA, BLGMA. We have those that we need to have as a locality. Miscellaneous expenses there, and then council and PC printing and supplies. We do a lot of printing for our agendas for both, so we have broken our printing costs down. We have meter readings on our printers, we've broken our printing costs down. We've done it for DMV as well, and just regular office.
And the other thing that's confused me in this whole thing is it's so much wages and salaries. We go there, then we go somewhere else, it's the same thing. What is, what?
Right. This is government budgeting, and so it breaks out the budget by funds. So this fund covers council and town managers' expenses as a whole. You have, the next one is clerk and treasurer expenses, so the wages and salaries for that would be for the clerk and treasurer. The next one is your DMV, so that would be your DMV wages and salaries.
So where are you? looking
Plus
at-
their paper clips.
Where are
all
you
that.
looking at that? At what page are you on with it?
14, 15,
Okay.
Okay, so this would be the clerk and the treasurer, all of their.
So
paper
this, okay, I
clips,
got that,
You
and about
know,
that.
their
yeah.
expenses.
It's really
It is
confusing.
very confusing. And then that's all their uniforms, their, postage, everything that has to do with their offices. And then you got the DMV and all their offices, their tape, and it's odd how the government,
yeah,
Okay, I just, was,
here's the Century
Absolutely.
21 or.
I'm not a scholar.
Yeah, no, but if this was Jiffy Lube, it wouldn't be grouped like that, yes.
So anyway,
Very good. I don't think people think this way, so.
they don't. This is just government.
Yeah, I mean, if you have years of government experience, if you think that way, but it just takes a little while to.
when I kept seeing all
Grouping
these
things
salaries,
right.
and I said, wait a minute, we just did that. No, wait a minute, here it is again, here it is again, here it
It's
is.
by-
again.
Think of
by
them
departments.
as by
It's
departments.
Right, and I'm going,
We're just tiny.
Like cemetery would be Lewis's salary,
Right.
public works is Hank, or Hank, I think might be on water, but anyway, Tony, and then,
right,
so we try to break them down to make it evenly distributed, so we can see where our expenses are going and what we're spending money on.
all right, this. The beautification,
Mhm.
have we spent $7,955?
That was part of the Christmas stuff, when we did the Christmas
Oh, that,
the tree. So we created a special events category
okay.
so that we can do our fall festival and our Christmas out of the special events section. And beautification is left to do beautification.
And then you got it back down to 3,000.
Yeah.
All right. Gosh, y'all are creating my mind.
It's a lot.
Okay, and why don't we have something for streetlights? Down
Yeah, there
at
is
the
one.
bottom,
There is one.
16, it says 0.
Yeah, I know, but there's.
Electricity. We're gonna have to have, we got to put some more streetlights up. I mean.
Well, that would be a capital improvements project that we would have to
Okay, but
plan.
that's-
And we
that's
can
a-
plan that. We just, that wasn't involved because this budget was focusing more on the grants and the water and the stuff like that. So a capital improvement project would be street lighting. So when the capital improvement, when like planning commission does the review for capital improvements and sends it to council and it's not on there, if they don't add it, then that's something that you could add on that you want to look forward to planning.
Does planning commission make all the decisions and send them?
No, they're not decisions. They're just recommendations, but they do capital
Okay,
improvement.
because I'm not gonna say what I was.
They're, because they're the planning and development, they make all the recommendations to council. And speak with the zoning administrator or the planner, whoever that is, or the town manager. And talk about all the different projects that they want to have. And then council and the town manager, zoning administrator, planner talk about what they want, are they feasible, and they schedule out by year how to do this.
So where would the water infrastructure be on this?
Yeah, I
Water
wanted to know.
And water is all of it?
and water.
Where is it at?
It's
Because it just said water and I'm like, well, what's in that? What is
It
that?
says
the
water
bill
and
that we're paying
sewer.
to
Oh,
Louisa
right.
or is-
It says water and sewer fund, it's blue.
Yeah, on 17.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Have we seen a large drop in the cemetery plot revenue over this year? I'm just curious, like going from 40 to 20, like have we noticed a big change?
I'll let Kelly speak to that.
No, we haven't noticed a big change, and this is part of the like balanced budget approach and where we talked about this a few minutes ago, we probably need to adjust these numbers. But the revenue is essentially the same as last year. It's just divided out a little differently. And it needs a little work. That needs to be audited internally just a little bit more, just to make it a little more accurate. We can make those revisions. Nothing is yet entered into the software for the cemetery, so we're still doing the books by hand, basically, for the cemetery. So just, needs a little work.
Yeah, we've phased in the cemetery module for the FMS because FMS conversion has taken some time and then trying to get the tax portion of the FMS set up and the utility billing. So we phased cemetery in to be the last thing that we phase in. Some of the information is in there, but it's a matter of now going and checking and doing the audit for that.
So with the water revenue, the current actual, the 239,836, would that be including the $90,000 grant?
So that's 2025's revenue.
Yeah, we got 90,000.
Oh.
So that's a grant money. This water revenue is actual water revenue that we collect.
Okay,
So we're looking at 240 is what we put. Sewer revenue is actual sewer revenue and what we charge, and that the 25 is 109. We put 110 for 26. The processing fee is actually what we pay a fee for every water connection that we do. We have to pay Louisa County Water Authority a fee. It's lowered because our connections have halted. So we won't have as many.
They're one time for each time connection.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right, and then what do we have? Oh, deposits. So those are just.
So what actually is in the, but, you may have answered this.
Okay.
What actually is in the budget for updating, doing something about our water?
The infrastructure.
So right now, we're having to work on, that's in the back, that's on the 600. So in the back is the grant, right? We get $90,000 in grant.
I'm talking more than the grants.
But right
because the
now-
grants are
right.
not gonna take care of it.
So right now, we have to focus on the well and the well revitalization,
Exactly.
so that we have to do that. If there is any emergencies, leaks or breaks, we have money set aside in contracted services to be able to fix that water problem. We're gonna be working with Carson and Bowman to do the asset management. They're gonna build out an infrastructure, which we talked about many months ago on line replacement, and there will be grants for that, but we have to get through the grant for the well first in order to address the water infrastructure. We've set money aside to help fix anything that breaks, but we don't
Where is
do
that in
line
there?
replacement until we get the well fixed and we focus on that. And then we'll do our water line replacement where it needs it. But we'll fix any breaks or anything that happens. That's in
So-
contracted services.
I think,
Last line on 18.
Contracted services.
Say
Not
like
next.
we can't get well for,
Yep.
do we use the grant money to start digging a well?
So that's what our grant money is for, to see what we can do. That's the first one. The second grant money isn't on here because it's probably gonna lead into the next budget cycle. If we can get it into this budget cycle, which I'm hoping, then we'll reappropriate the money to
We
take
are
care.
gonna get this done before in the 2-year period, aren't we?
So they put out a plan. We're pushing to get it done sooner. We can only do.
Because I don't think we as a town could keep going like this if we can't do it.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
Okay.
I mean, if we can't provide water for people.
We're providing water. We're just not getting a revenue.
I'm talking about the new people that want to come in, that started building, can't get the water hook up. We're doomed. We got to get this water going, period. And
Right.
I've been saying that. I even looked back and I said, Lord, I said this back before the new year, that we've got to get our.
And we've
water
been
going.
working very hard.
And we're grateful that you joined us because we have been too, and it seems like it's going now. And so
Yeah,
we're moving forward.
We had to fix all of our water leaks because we were losing money because all the water was literally going down the drain into the
And they
land
required
somewhere.
us to do that.
So we
before
had to
go
do
the
that.
next step.
And now we're at the next step, which is the water grants and the well revitalization. My hope is that well 4 will come back on. If well 4 doesn't come on, now this first part of the grant, that's what it's gonna tell us. It's gonna tell us what can we do with well 4, right? If they say, you know what, well 4 is producing water, you just need to fix some of the maintenance areas around it. Great, now we have water, right? Now they can limit the restrictions possibly because we have our own source water. Now, every time we get a water payment from a customer, that's money in the pocket because we have water that we're supplying out. We're not purchasing water
Right.
every month from Louisa County.
We're doing 100% right now.
Right. So the second part of the grant is to say, hey, you need more than just one well. Let's go, the hydrogeologist goes around, helps us look to see where our wells are right now. Can we drill beside those wells? Did the water seep into pockets? Are they in cracks? Is there another bubble somewhere? Can we get that water? Apparently there's some stream, a spring or something on Spring Road, hence the name, that we can tap into, that we can get. So
I know. about
we're
that.
looking at that. So that second grant, that's what it would help us do.
Is it being done now?
We're working on the RFP situation for the grant. That's process. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
takes
that's-
time. We got to get it out there. We have to get someone to say they want to do it. We get their stuff in. It takes about a month or 2 months. It just depends. Yep, we're working on it.
Okay. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure that my question has been answered so that I can understand it.
Yeah.
So where in our budget are we saying that we're given so much allocation to this water situation.
Under contracted services is where the money that we use to
Where's
fix
it at?
any
Which page?
emergencies.
Which page?
18.
Okay,
Is necessary professional services, is that included?
Engineering and professional services are, that's not our grant. So our grant money is separate from this water money, right? The water money is for, if we have to get someone, like the engineering professional services for asset management. So they can tell us how to do our line replacement and when to do it and what's happening. Contracted services is for, we need to fix, replace, repair our water lines. Your grant money is down, further on page 18 under capital improvement, 600 fund. That's your grant money. And that's for what we're in the process of trying to up and running.
Is that where it's saying 45,000?
Yep. We got $90,000 in grant. We put 45 on here. If we get to the second grant within this fiscal
Okay.
year, we'll allocate the rest of the money, come to council and say, we need to appropriate additional 45. And then after we spend it and it gets done, we send everything to BDH and they reimburse us and give us back our $90,000. That's how grants work.
So we've got $90,000 into the contracted services, which is, not an impressive figure
What?
by any means, and I understand that, and we will always ask for more. We will end up putting more in here, we will end up transferring more in here, we just don't have it.
I want
in here
to
now.
see us do stuff that we won't go back and have these problems that we are having right
Absolutely.
now.
I
I want to
Absolutely.
see
And that's
us
what we're
to get
trying to do, is do
to
it
the
right.
point where we can go and somebody come in here and say, man, you got it.
Yeah. It's so with your asset management plan, you'll have it forever. It tracks everything that we do. We type in all of our stuff. It tells us when we last replaced that line, what happened, if it's time for a new line to be replaced, what type of line it was that you put in, like all of that. So 20 years from now, if you have a problem on the line that's there, you have history to go back and see all of what was done. Right now, I don't have anything. I literally have no way to figure out what's anywhere. I pull out a water map and I only know that DI means ductile something pipe or iron pipe or PVC, like I only know because it's written on a
I
map.
mean, I know none of this stuff has come from way back.
I know.
From way back.
Yeah.
It's not any of our fault
It's not.
or it goes back. Yeah,
goes
maybe
back
some of
and-
it's our fault, but it goes way
It-
back. And
It takes
Yeah.
a lot to understand a water system. That's why a lot of towns have an actual public works water department.
Right. Yeah, things getting noted on a Post-it note, put on a map, ends up at the bottom of a Dr. Pepper bottle, and it ends up on a different map, and, we don't know where that poster started out, and it's not the best system, it's just, things have been paper clipped, things have been done by pencil, things have been on index cards, things have been, and it has been a manual system for 100 years, and we are trying to, improve that right now.
then at the bottom is this expenses. Why is the 100,000 in parentheses?
So that's your 100,000 that we had transferred to and from the CIP for the actual lead and copper inventory. So that's that and the 100,000. So you have 100,000, 100,000, the parentheses and the non-parentheses offset each other.
All right, and then what's the emergency fund repair?
Water and sewer repairs.
And why is it 0 and 26?
Because this is all lead and copper based.
Oh, okay, so that was that study they did, okay.
Yeah.
Now we can move it up here to this.
And I apologize for all these questions, but
Ask
I.
them.
question.
Do not apologize because this is recorded and people that watch these have questions too.
Right.
So
Okay,
I think that I realized or appreciated that we are, as of March, about $78,000 over our allocated amount for buying water from the
County.
So let me explain that. Kelly can jump in. So page 18, in Fund 500, and it says county, water purchased. So in the beginning, we started doing the water leaks, right? They were huge, huge amount of water leaks. We had an enormous water leak, on Mineral Avenue.
That might have been not.
Probably. We had, the park had so much water leaking. I mean, it was a pond of water in the park. This is
They're
water
all
that,
fixed now, aren't they?
yeah, they are. Yep. This is water that, that was a homeowner, but it's all taken care of now. This water is still water we have to pay for. I mean, 117,000 gallons. We have to pay for that. They pay for it, but we have to pay for it up front, and we collect on it through our meters. So that's why this is so big, because we've had all these leaks. The leaks have been fixed. We have a better audit for our water. We have a top 10 usage report. We have, a way to look at, where, who's late on their water. So even that is us paying, because we still pay for it. Even though there's a bill out here that's, that $1,000 or $2,000, we still have to pay for that water. We're just trying to collect it. So Kelly has done a great job with sending out, notices, late notices, disconnect notices, and she'll give an update at the next meeting, but we've collected so much money. So this number, this is why we didn't forecast 168, because we don't see that being 168 next year. We see it being 90. I'm trying not to be 90 if we can get well 4 up.
They're also catching leaks through the billing system by, somebody had $150 bill last month and they have a $750 bill. And they're catching it in the office. The people don't know it. Nobody knows it. The rural water people haven't got it yet because it's so early. They're catching those. And those are the golden ones to catch, because they haven't cost us support to them yet. And those are the great
I got a bill for $750, just burned.
ones. The homeowner hasn't
Water.
yet. They're getting it, a week and a half before. So
Yeah,
that's, they
we're
just
getting it
saved-
before the bill goes out. So
Right, so they're
Kelly
saving
can
another
make a note.
$300 or $400 before they even get it. It's amazing, amazing.
And then it's sad though, some people can't afford to fix it. If it's on that side, they can't afford to fix it.
and we're trying to help those individuals.
Well, that's one reason we had Lloyd here.
Yeah. Bad as it is getting better. There's a reason to be proud and a reason to get behind this, and especially employees, and they're just coming up with great systems, and I'm very proud of all that they've got. We really seriously, just leaps and bounds.
Yeah, getting
It's
on.
still bad, but it's,
But it was a lot worse.
it was so bad. And we didn't know we had these leaks. That's the worst part, is that nobody in this town knew there were leaks until they came and they were like listening with stethoscopes, and they're like, oh my God, you guys, and then, because there's no way for us to know unless they squirt, right?
And we still have a couple leaks that we need to address, but they're, they're in line to be scheduled, but we have to figure out a way to address that and the cost associated with it, because it's digging up a road.
Yeah.
And so how do we do that? Right? It's a
It's a
lot.
survey.
It's a lot of
To cut
money.
down trees.
It's gonna
Dig
save
out
us
trees.
money in the end. We're spending money right now for this leak. It's gonna save us money, but it's gonna cost a lot of money.
You like a ghost sponge me water. All right. Do you have any other water questions,
Yeah.
comments?
Yeah.
reactions?
The water and service 20. What's our water bill gonna be? I'm not sure. I see the $79.50. That's a deposit? Or what is that? Right here.
Oh, these are fees. Wait, these are fees, right? Are these, yeah, these.
Oh, are you going to the fees? We
Okay,
haven't
say
seen it.
residential, commercial water deposits.
Yeah, these are
70-50.
fees. We haven't, yep.
Yeah,
Are y'all
these
done with
are
the budget? You
fees.
still want to ask questions on the budget?
I'm finished with my questions. I
Okay.
don't know if anybody else.
We're gonna go over fees
I'm
at the
still,
end.
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
some things I'm not clear on, you know.
Well, let's,
We're gonna go over it
I
again.
mean, I will, you know, think about things and my brain's been overloaded
Mhm.
here this week, so.
We're gonna go over it again in 3 weeks.
So anyway, when are we having the public?
the recommended date, I think, is somewhere around the 29th. So if you wanted to come in and spend some time just reviewing numbers and explaining and going over, we can do that.
Okay,
All right, let me know when you're gonna do that. Thank you.
okay. We have two people, can't have more than two.
Two people,
Right.
can't have three.
Yeah.
Can't have three
You
She's
can-
not on council.
Yeah,
No, I
no,
know. I'm talking about two people, three is a meeting.
right.
Well, looks like we've gone through that and we're
All
going
right.
to go on to the fees. Does anybody have questions about the budget before we go to the fees? Is anybody online? Or, I mean.
No, I've been checking, Councilmember.
You know, you
Phoebe's
may know me well or something,
Yeah.
so, and I do, want to extend our condolences to the Hempstead family who are not here because of their family. And we will provide them with the paperwork and hopefully they'll watch and they can participate next. All right, let's move on.
All right, fees. So, I took the liberty, Kelly and I went over some of the fees and we wanted to make sure that last year we didn't get a chance to really dive into the fees for the town. There's a lot of fees the town right now wasn't capturing, like there are people that are, subdividing or consolidating land or, wanting to do all these things, right? We only do one permit. And if you look at other localities and other towns, they do multiple permits. And so I've listed these out on here. So our water, let's start at the top. Our water service fees don't change. They're the same. They're not going to change at all. Tax service fees aren't changing. There's nothing in addition to that. Zoning service fees, these are what in blue I think is new. Is that what you said? They're the new fees. Okay. So rezoning fees, 250, that's been on there. Variance, special use permit. Zoning permit new, that was on there. Zoning permit existing. That just means like if it's a new structure, like if there's a new dwelling or if there's just an accessory structure would be $100. Like a shed. A subdivision plat review is new. We didn't do that. I do so many of these when people come in and they say, I'm interested in buying this land. I want to do the plat this way. I want to create my plat. I want to divide my plat this way. There are so many of these that I have to spend an hour or two on. I tell them up front that they have to submit a zoning permit and collect the fee before I do it, but it really is a plat review fee.
Okay.
And that's on here. And that's a subdivision. So we're talking like people taking land and consolidating lines or dividing it up and creating new plat code, new tax map numbers for this.
Okay.
Boundary line adjustments are the same thing. They're taking the boxes, the lots, and they're consolidating them and they're creating a new boundary for that actual parcel. And now it becomes a different parcel. A lot of times in mineral, it's been allowed that they just keep those lots and just say, this is what I'm doing. That's not how it should work because you have these, what are they, pins that are the corners of your property that your house can sit on. And now you have other pins and they need to physically pay for the plat and get it recorded and they're not getting it recorded And so we want them to get it recorded because we want our GIS and our parcels updated correctly. And so that's where this comes into play. Change of use is if you have a house and you are turning it into a business. You have
Have a house and do what?
turning it into a business. You have a residential
Oh.
home and now you've turned it into a business. Someone comes in and says, I want to buy this residence, but I want to use it as a business because I'm allowed to, because it's on like commercial. That's a change of use. And the reason for that is because we need to go down and look at the zoning and they need to go get a building permit. Because it could be that they're turning it into a restaurant or a cafe or a brewery, and they have to have a building permit. In order to have a building permit, they have to have some type of zoning permit.
Okay. I'll turn mine into a cafe.
Hear ya. Let's see, DMV stop removal fee, that's something that that we addressed, that we're gonna start doing. It's $25.
For what?
DMV stop removal fee, so, am I right in saying if if a DMV stop was put on and we have to
For
remove
unpaid
it,
Personal property taxes.
yep, it's $25. This is all state code related.
Question,
Yeah,
not related to that. I feel like I should know the answer to this, but I do not. So for the real estate taxes, do we rely on the property assessments that the county does, or
Yeah.
does the county do their own?
no, county assessed. All counties, assess the real estate. The one fee that's not on here that I, am gonna add is a renewal fee for the permits. A flat renewal fee, no matter what the permit is, $75. So there's gonna be expiration dates added to the permits of 6 months because your first permit, you get it, you have 6 months, and then 6 months after that is 1 year. So no more than 1 year. In 1 year, can you have a permit? You pay one renewal. Because within a year, your zoning ordinances could change if ever decided that they wanted to change the ordinance language. So at 6 months, an expiration date and a $75 renewal fee, and it's good for 6 more months. And then they have to apply again. And that's only if they haven't like broken ground, done anything with it.
Now we'll eliminate all these unknown.
Yeah.
Floating around, zoning.
Yeah.
permits we have.
Exactly.
They're waiting gold right now, apparently.
Exactly. So burial plot veteran, this is a revision fee. So, we were doing, Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong. Kelly, they looked at the cemeteries and we were discussing how the veterans were done. And the veterans were done, you buy one, and if there's a veteran, you get the second one half off. What if it's a single veteran? What if they're not married? What if something happened? So we would like to address that to say that the veteran themselves get a fee, a discount, not like the whole family. Yeah.
When we got ours, it was buy one, get one free,
Yeah.
because Snake is veteran.
Yeah, but this isn't buy one, get one free. It's buy one, get it half off.
But that's what it
Yeah.
was when we got ours.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah.
When I,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can adjust it. It's just something that we were noting that if a veteran was single, it's not fair to them that they would have to buy a full price plat. That's not fair to them if they were,
oh, no.
yeah. So that's what this is trying to cover, is that the veterans themselves are covered.
I mean, I'm even good with zero. Because, I mean, they did give that service to our country. And that means a lot.
It's something for y'all
We
to,
can-
that opens,
How do you feel about
that opens the cemetery up to a lot.
When
That's a lot. That opens it up to a lot.
we have such a small
A
cemetery.
small
we have to
cemetery.
be careful.
Because of, even though the cemetery is wide open, there's a portion of the cemetery we cannot bury people in. It's a flood zone.
It would.
You absolutely cannot. So really, the cemetery is very small. You pictured that flood zone?
Pardon me?
You have a picture of that flood zone in your variant people? Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys discuss it. It's up to you what you want to do. It's a council decision.
Yeah, that's something that we'd have to bring up at the meeting and talk about.
Right.
But I have an
With
idea
the
that I'd like to
flood
share.
zone.
I'm just, you know, somebody that gives their time.
Are they allowed to, bury one on top of each other at this, because of the flood zone being so close, or why?
It's just one per lot.
Is there a reason or? is
What was
it
your
just-
question?
Just arbitrary?
Well, I mean, in Arlington, they can do that.
So you mean people on top of each other?
You want to speak to that? Kelly,
Yeah.
Kelly might have some
There's
information.
no land that they have.
On the cemetery.
And even now, they can't, yeah.
Well, like my father-in-law is buried at Arlington, and so is his wife, and it's one on top of the other.
Because they just don't have enough money to say.
Arlington, is that free?
I don't know, I haven't
Stabilized.
applied for it yet.
Is that where you go?
You know what I mean? They have all those
Okay,
slopes that can move dirt and make everything all, you know, we don't have.
Kelly, I think, has some more information on that topic.
Well, the only information that I have is that that was what the rules and regulations were. I guess when the cemetery was established, or at least when the rules and regulations were established, that it is one person per lot unless it is a mother and a child or two children. Those are the only exceptions, and there's not, you know, not
No stack.
stacked or anything. And part of it could be, it doesn't state it in there, but part of it could be because we are close to that floodplain.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing, I don't have any historical references to what the reasoning was. It's just what's in the rules and regulations.
Just curious.
Yeah, I mean, there might be reasons for it. I'm guessing we don't have money to, you know, to do what is necessary to support the ground. You know,
It's a flood zone,
so
so
yeah.
FEMA says it's a
We
flood
can't
zone.
do what we would need to do to make it that. So I'm fine with that. I think that's it. And we have had people suggest that we, on the flood areas, you know, put above ground crematoriums, not for people. Or, you know, for like pet toriums where people can put pet urns. And, you know,
We have a columbarium.
But not for
we can
pets.
do that, but
Not for
we can do
pets.
that on flood.
But we have no animal, don't we have?
Yeah, that's what-
No animal.
No animal. I knew that rule came up.
Okay. Niches, that's the columbarium, so that's the same for veterans. We made it so that it was a discounted fee for the actual veteran. A new fee is niche markings. That's $100. And buyback processing fee. We've had to, how many lots did we buy back this year?
There's live here to be buried there.
No.
You
No.
come from anywhere in
Yep.
Philadelphia.
There's an in-town fee, sorry, this is not even my area. There's an
Yeah.
in-town fee and then there's a, just everybody else
Yeah.
fee, so.
And cremated people be buried.
Columbariums.
They can be.
We have a
they-
columbarium,
they can
that's where.
be buried too.
Was that above ground?
I had, my son, died, I went to the Columbarium,
Mhm.
felt cold. Post office box. Absolutely not. He's sitting on my shelf and he watches TV with me every night, so no way I'll put him in there, feel cold.
I do think urns can be, sorry, Kelly, this is your area.
You can bury,
Mhm.
I mean, you can sprinkle it over you could go and take remains and sprinkle it over the grave.
No.
That's
Why
a,
can't you
that's
do
a,
I think that's a law.
that's a
It is.
environmental.
Well, how come you can go to Shenandoah and sprinkle off the mountain
Theoretically,
and stuff?
you're.
Theoretically, you can't,
You
but they
cannot.
do it.
Because I know people that do it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, we're getting a little off topic, but.
does
I
anyone
wanna be
have any more
sprinkled-
questions
I wanna
about
be
these?
sprinkled out here so I can,
So you can haunt.
Torture us forever.
yep, that's where I'm going.
So I do have a question kind of backing up a little bit
Yeah.
to the real estate tax. So I mean, I think everybody is likely aware of the fact that our property assessments have gone up quite significantly this year compared to last year. And with the same rate, it does mean that our residents are gonna be paying. Even though if we keep the same rate, just simply because their property is gonna be valued higher, so I guess we need to discuss that, you know, as a council and kind of see if there's something that we wanna do on that. With that being said, is the revenue in the budget considering the additional revenue with the higher?
No, because this was created before that, and the county is giving rebates.
I mentioned that at the last meeting about the rebates.
Do we have an
We
idea?
are really-
Is it gonna be like 12 to?
It doesn't make
$100?
sense. They're gonna keep the
Depending on-
rates up, but then turn around and give you 5% back or 2%.
As a
credit
As a-
on your
as
next
a-
year's taxes.
It's because the assessments are going up, they're trying to just keep it the same.
Yeah, okay, it doesn't make sense. Charge you more and then go back and give you, just charge less.
It's like-
Does it make sense?
I don't think it works like that.
Water when it goes up.
I think it works like
slowly.
We can get more clarification on exactly how they're gonna do that.
Yeah, remember I mentioned it last meeting or
Mhm,
something?
yeah.
I read an article the other day from one of the Louisa County meetings, is that they're gonna give you a credit in 25 for the rebates.
Yeah, that's. Just don't charge you as much, you're gonna be better off. I mean, don't tie my
It's rocket
money up.
science.
Don't tie my money up.
Questions, everybody's looking at me right now.
I don't know.
It's because you're
Looking into space.
you're alone over there.
Everybody's a little tired. Well, it looks like we have made it through this. Does anybody have any final comments, questions? Do you have anything you wanna, any of the three of you want to say before we wrap this up for the evening?
This has definitely been something that we're working on, and going forward, the budget's just gonna be easier for the staff. Last year, having to implement the software and get everything in, again, like, we did the implementation and we don't have like we didn't have all the numbers in the whole
Right.
time. So we were working off of something completely different. Now that we have a setup fund and how everything operates, it'll be easier going forward to see our forecasted numbers. So even next year, so like right now, let's just go to page 19. 19, yeah. So right now, our budget for 26 is 1,481,950. The balanced budget. It's not ever probably gonna be that expensive because we'll see our real actual revenues and our real actual expenses. You're always gonna have something in there that will skew the number a little bit, like if there's a project or something that we wanna do, it should go in CIP, but if there's a super, large expense that we have in general fund, it'll change the numbers, but we'll be able to have actual forecasted numbers from our actual revenues and actual expenses. We'll be able to see that clearer going forward. Like right now, our actuals are for revenue is 1,048,000. This is for as of March. And our actual expense is 1,276,000, remembering that not all the revenues were in the system at that time. We were doing an audit. But you can see these are the actual numbers. So actually what we took in and what we spent. So we'll be able to see a clearer picture as we move forward in this software system.
Well, I for one really appreciate, because it's been a long time coming and there were no numbers for years and years and years, and then there were guesstimated numbers, and now we're getting these clarified numbers, and by next year we should have some pretty good numbers. And I would say in a couple of years, they should be really accurate numbers, and I'm impressed by that. I also wanted to say that everybody here should be commended on the professional and beautiful presentations, questions, and the way that this meeting has been conducted.
Thank you.
This is the town of Mineral that we can all be proud of. And I hope this is how it happens every time we have it, because I've enjoyed being here with all of my good friends from it.
Well, I just want to make a note myself is that, the townspeople that aren't on the council will be able to understand and see a lot of the hard work that's been going on from you ladies here to make this happen. Because to go from receipts and boxes and not be able to hold anybody accountable for any spending or any misappropriation of funds, not stating that there was or speculating, just stating a fact that this holds people accountable. It holds the council accountable to make sure that the money's there and that it's allocated in the right place. And thank you, ladies.
A lot of hard work has been done and we're all
Yeah,
very, very
And there's
grateful.
still a lot more, I'm sure.
We know,
But-
yes, yes.
It's a amazing feat for the town council. And you people coming on board and making this happen.
And I want to say, I'm so glad to be at a meeting where it's no controversy, no chaos, none of that. It's been a pleasant meeting. And I appreciate it so much.
I just want to say two things quickly. One, so last year at this time, I had been here 2 months. Nicole had been here a month, and so
Amazing, isn't
we
it?
really, we really had to throw
Correct.
the numbers together for the budget, and it was just best guess, almost everything. So having this, I love my job. I'm just gonna say, I love my job. When something like this comes together, it really makes me feel good about the team effort that we have. And so I appreciate your saying that, because it is a team effort. But second, I want to say, Becky, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to call or come by or,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah,
confusing.
last year during the budget day, I was in a really bad place. I was in a terrible place last year. That's one of the reasons I got out of it. I'm back. If we continue like this, it will be good. I just get scared. Nobody knows. Walking in these stores some nights, I am a wreck. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And I just want calm and no chaos. You're smiling, Mr. Snyder.
I'm thinking that the only man in the room never said anything.
But I'm gonna cry.
Well, we made good progress tonight, so I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
No, I
had the motion.
Okay, and a second. All right, Joanna?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned at 7:34.
Man, we
We
cried for
missed